Hi, I'm Westing Tyler, and this is an update, a GameDev update, a lazy one for one of my side projects called CC Game. That's the code name for it. This is largely inspired by the Jurassic Park Super Nintendo game by Ocean, which I grew up on and really loved, and also inspired by the game The Visitor Center, which is where a guy remade one of the interiors for that game, but tweaked a couple of settings and made it modern, and that's when it kind of clicked for me that I was like, yes, that would be really cool as a full game. So I started recreating the Jurassic Park Super Nintendo game, but improving the systems and everything and turning it into something more like this. And so then this is one of my side projects that uses all of that. So I'm just going to walk around and listen to this music that was generated by Udio, which is an AI music generation thing. It's kind of a really cool, easy way to get some background music, ethics aside. But yeah, so I have the time system, the day and night cycle. So you can see just like that. The water shader still doesn't update quite correctly. It either thinks it's day or night, so like now it should be reflecting the stars, but it decided that it's afternoon, so it just stays on that. I'll have to figure out how to update that. But yeah, so I have several trees here. They're scaled correctly for their heights and trunk widths, and I have their tree or the leaves that are correct. I have a kapok, a banyan, and a dipterocarp, as well as things like a fern. Oh yeah, and there's my little test guy. This is an import issue when I made a custom asset importer for FBX, but I think I'm gonna keep it. Well, I mean, for testing. Anyway, it's got silly. But yeah, so that's what we are here. Loop the audio right there, so I can keep walking around some more. But yeah, so now I'll just walk around, kind of get an idea for this. This takes place in a tropical area. Tropical mountainous oceanside area to the south. It's actually a location in Knott's game, which is my main game, but I'm not sure how much of this smaller game will actually be in there. This is definitely going to be its own standalone thing as well. I don't have climbing implemented yet. I do have menus. If they don't, I don't know if they work right. Yeah. I don't know, watch this not work. Yeah. Still, like, the pieces all work, but I'm assembling them together. And that's from my other side, one of my other side projects, Age of Singularity, which is my Ultima 6 fan recreation project. And so see, all these pieces are just slowly coming together. And that's from Ultima 6 as well. That's supposed to be a ship. It will be. And I did the lighting like how Wind Waker works, where you have different color sets for clouds, fog, sun, horizon, and everything, and you can blend between them in real time, which is pretty cool. So it is actually updating the time, and eventually you'll be able to do the same thing here with the schedules of the NPCs, because they slide back and forth. This is just for debugging purposes, this little slider at the bottom, which I'm using my Xbox gamepad to control, but it's pretty handy. You can look under the ocean here. I don't have a no-clip ability to fly up there yet, or I'd show you the whole island. In lieu of that, I'll just go out here and kind of take a look at it. Any one of these pieces, like the tree leaves, or the fog, or the water, is not fantastic. But together, you almost start to get a feel for what a game could feel like. It's kind of like if Minecraft came out in like 1996 on the N64, and like everybody was like, oh, I guess you don't need photoreal graphics for a game to be good. So like game development took an entirely different path historically than it did in our real world. And so you have these kind of games where they focus on immersion and the simulation of the game rather than just focusing on graphics and engagement and everything. And so that's why you have these kind of low poly, kind of PS1, kind of N64, not quite GameCube, simple graphics. I'm avoiding normal maps, but I will have a specular shader that I've already made that works on my objects that I import. And so you have like kind of a glint. It's not visible here, but on my other objects it is. And I'll maybe make a video showing those off as well sometime soon, because I've made a custom asset exporters from Blender and importers into Unity using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, and those are save a lot of time with manual, tedious, repetitive work. Even the textures for the landscape here, I can press a button in Blender and it automatically UVs them, and it's very simple to keep everything in like a little grid atlas pattern, rather than me manually scaling all the squares down, and it's because I'm still evolving the landscape. So doing that helps a lot with a lot of the busy work. Just hit a button and it's grass all of a sudden, and then I can move it around. This area, this game, for CC game, it's about a 1 kilometer area, 1 kilometer square area, and it really is like taking Jurassic Park for Super Nintendo and making a modern version of it. There's like 7 or 8 different interiors. Those are all hooked up already, but if you go in them currently, they're currently floating in the sky because I haven't placed them on the new map that I've just made here correctly. But if you go into them, you'll enter basically the interiors from Jurassic Park Super Nintendo, because those are recreated as a test thing. That's a really good way, I think, to make games. Like, find the game that's kind of the model for what you want, recreate it, shamelessly ripping off all of its assets and everything, and then once all the systems work and it feels right, then go replace the story, replace the assets, replace everything with your own custom everything. So then you have almost like a spiritual successor kind of situation. Now it's playing different music on the audio thing that I've generated. You have some swampy areas, you got ruins. Of course you got dinosaurs. I'm developing the artificial intelligence for the raptors and stuff like that. But this is it's my smallest game, my smallest side project. So it's a great test bed to get my systems up and running as I build towards the bigger projects like Age of Singularity or SP or Knott's Game, which is my main game, which all of this goes into. These are all my custom textures. I have them in Atlas. I hand painted them in PaintShop Pro X9, I think, using a mouse. It's so clunky for me to use this, to find a tablet and stylus all the time. So I just learned to do it with a mouse, and it's okay. It's certainly passable. I would go to press, as I say, with these if I needed to, but you know, everything is still in development. Those are pterocarps over there. This is I don't know if that's a banyan or a I think it's a kapok. A banyan is down there, or I'm sorry, banyan. My friend told me it's pronounced banyan. It's a banyan tree, and these are the real scales. Oh yeah, here we go. This is not my character model. This is a temporary that I've just been using. And when I got my asset importer for FBX files working, now all of a sudden this guy imported again and is totally messed up. So I still have to figure all that out for when I add my characters in. But I'm definitely gonna have this in some form, this animation. You're gonna have to recreate it manually, because it's just too darn silly. Anyway, so this is just walking around. So there'll be dinosaurs here. You'll hear waterfalls. I already have some, was it royalty-free jungle ambient sound effects in the background. Probably can't hear it over the music, but it's all going to be pretty awesome when it's done. I would never be a good Let's Player because I cannot play a game and talk at the same time, especially about something interesting. Luckily, this is pretty enough now that I'm happy to show it. Oh, is this the, This is a certain cool secret place. Technically, I'm in a cave, so I guess it should be dark. Let's see, there we go. Let's pretend it's dark, even though the water isn't updating to be dark. Alright, here we go. As we come out, it's morning. Yeah, and here's the secret kind of zone. The trees are all placed automatically by a script that I have that populates. I have different lists of game object prefabs. I hit a button and it pastes them wherever I want based on some rules, like how steep the slopes you want or whether it's in water. It's still a work in progress, but manually placing all these trees is just no good. But having a script that automatically does it, and then I can go in and tweak things, it works out pretty well. The sun and moon are supposed to be in the sky, but something bringing the time progression script over from another scene caused it to not transfer correctly, but I'll get all that worked out as well. So I really like the colors. And of course you'll have a flashlight. I have it here, but it's not quite working right at the moment. But yeah. And the time does actually flow, and I can set the scale of the time flow. So if you wait here long enough, it will become night. And one of the things about my games is they mess with the flow of time. So you can actually adjust how fast or how slow you want time to flow based on how relaxing or tense you want the scheduling to be. And that's up to you. It's custom difficulty settings, essentially, on a player-by-player basis. If I keep going over this way, see, that one didn't place correctly. Kapok trees have buttress roots. Oh, I put an invisible world boundary here. You can actually see the clipping of the camera as the mountains disappear over there on the left. I can adjust that, it's just a tweak. But yeah, if you walk in a straight line, this game takes about 2 minutes to walk across, because I wanted the game to be less about shoe leather and just walking from place to place, and more about you routing and making decisions, more like a Resident Evil game that just happens to be in a big old open jungle. Kind of Dino Crisis-y, but mixed in with the Jurassic Park Super Nintendo kind of situation. I don't think you can get up there. Yeah, you can. Obviously, I need to script in that you would slide down this, so you can't just do this and go all the way up. And there's that invisible wall, I'm hitting it. See, and I don't like how the fog is even everywhere. Volumetric fog, especially more fog in the jungle and less on the coastline, would be nice. But that's another thing I'm gonna have to figure out. Oh, now it's playing other random music, so let's get off the lyrical stuff. There you go. And that's all audio music, none of it's like copyrighted, in the sense of getting taken down by YouTube or anything, or struck for DMCA or anything. But these AI music generation sites, who knows what's gonna happen with them. So it's a whole wait and see thing, because there's a lot of potentially unethical stuff going on with how they train their stuff. This is just a little free YouTube video test thing. I don't think it's a big issue. See, like I can have as many increments as I want of color sets, and then it'll blend between them evenly throughout the day. And so I have like every probably 2 hours, I think, maybe even every hour, I have a set of fog, of cloud color, of watercolor that's not working, of skybox color blending, and it just blends between them. And you can even see the clouds. Oh, there's the moon sun thing. It's just not connected right now since I transferred this over. Although normally in the other time progression scene, you'll see it roll across the sky. And I'm not super happy with it, but it is like procedurally made using a YouTuber guy. I can't remember his name, but I used his script that he showed how to make. So it's like it's not even a real texture up there. That's going to be a different issue figuring that out for the sun and moon. See, look at the clouds. See, and again, talking about the old Minecraft retro aesthetics thing is that everything is point filtering, nearest neighbor. I'm not using bilinear texture filtering on pretty much anything except maybe some UI elements. So what that means is you can see all the pixels as squares, and they're not blended together into this blurry nonsense that I really don't like. Even going back and playing N64 games and stuff, I really wish I could just turn off bilinear filtering. I just like seeing the pixel artwork, seeing how it's put together, and kind of getting a feel for that, and I can learn from it as well. And so that's kind of why I do it. I just like the democracy of it, the seeing all the pixels. And maybe it is too that I have more of a soft spot nowadays for Minecraft. So it's and it's just very square pixels and everything that you can see, no soft anything really. So taking that to like just a little bit more advanced than Minecraft visually is kind of what feels right to me at this moment. There's some sand. I guess we'll go over to the other side of the dock here, and then maybe we'll end the video. Oh, you can hear the ambiance now because the music stopped. This is it's like a Creative Commons 0 jungle sound effect. Everything I looked on the website seems legit. They even said you don't have to credit them, but there's always going to be a process with every game called an errors and omissions process where you go through and you make sure that you actually have the rights to every single thing, every single asset, sound effect, texture, everything before you actually ship it. To make sure you're being responsible and legally. That's why I use a lot of AI generated things as placeholders a lot. I'm not fully happy with the quality, but also, it's still in an ambiguous legal territory about using a lot of that stuff. This freighter ship, for instance, it's like a Panamax freighter, according to ChatGPT. That's what I'm kind of going for. Kind of like the ship in Jurassic Park. But this is the blocked out version. But I've also used Luma AI's Genie website to generate 3D models, even in low poly textured. So it's like 8K models, 8K triangles each. So you could dump them in the game. They're just not they're very beveled, and it's very rough. So I'm going to drop them in as what I call tracers and make my own models and textures, kind of using them as a guidepost, as a guide. And then I'll drop my own models in here, and it's going to be great. This is going to be a dock where you could, I don't know, fight a T-Rex. Who knows? But I would like to have the T-Rex have the kind of vibe that Mr. X has in Resident Evil 2 Remake, or as Nemesis did in the original Resident Evil 3, where he's just kind of around, and he could show up at any time. He might even have a kind of AI, like the Alien in Alien Isolation. That's why there's a lot of big open areas, so that he can navigate very well. And maybe he comes out more at nighttime, kind of like Friday the 13th for the NES, where it's just more dangerous at night. So there's a lot of little mechanics that are going to be interlocking to bring together, and it's going to be really, really cool. Let's see. I can move faster if I glide. This FOV is 75. The reason, yeah, I think I'm gonna do more things like this, what I call lazy game dev or videos, because I really don't want to edit them. Um, I just want to film them and dump them up online. And so trying to get a live, I mean, people stream all the time. They do stuff like this all the time. It just has to, not be miserable to watch. And so that's the challenge. Um, but yeah, so that's why I'm kind of just like kind of moving around and it's kind of rough. But yeah, you can kind of just talk about things and things. So I don't know. It's kind of cool. I think it's inspiring, hopefully. I think it's really cool looking. This is the first time that I've had a world together that actually looks good enough that, like, all the pieces finally to actually share it and do this kind of walk around kind of video, kind of update video. So, look how cool that is. So this part of the road falls out in a landslide, and in the game you can build something called it's a real thing called a medium girder bridge that the military can use. Go look up videos of them putting them together. They can put it together in like 5 minutes, and it's like a big steel girder bridge they can use to cross gaps like this. It's really crazy. But yeah, it's so cool. It would be cool for you to build one, because in my game, and again, this is like Friday the 13th, the 2017 game, basically where there are multiple ways to escape the area. And one of them is to drive a vehicle through this tunnel, you know, but you have to be able to get over here. So, then or you could, get your boat ready and sail away, or you could call the mainland and get a helicopter. And so each one requires a different kind of set of quests. Requires you to go to different buildings for different reasons, to find different resources and turn different switches and stuff. And I really think you can make a really kind of simple, economical game that has a lot of replay value and a lot of like content just in a very simple way like this by doing things in this way. Take a look around here. I like that you can see the stars at night and barely during the day, just like real life. And the pixely clouds are moving across as well. That's so cool looking. It's so cool! Of course, look how it's not updating. The water's not updating, so let's figure out what time of day it's supposed to be for. Maybe like that. Looks almost okay. Look at that. But yeah, I have scene transitions working. A lot of the systems are in place. There's a title menu. The save system does work. I just gotta. There's a couple of bugs to work out, but yeah, you can go into the interiors if they were not floating in the sky. Since I updated the map. Yeah, and you would be in the Jurassic Park interior. One of the next things I want to do is add footstep sounds. I have it programmed in Playmaker in Unity, so I just need to go examine my script and just put colliders on the feet, and have him and get it back to how I had it before when I was using the Playmaker systems. Tell me that's not awesome, because that is awesome. Yeah, like I always say, existence before gameplay. I need to be able to sit down and relax on a beach and read a book looking up at the sky as time passes before you tell me I gotta save the world. It's like, why would you want to save a world you can't sit down in? It's like some kind of torture thing, like a Hellraiser situation. It's like you can't sit down, you can't eat, you can't sleep in most video games. Now go save this world you're supposed to care about. And I'm like, well, I can't. Why? I'm not a Cenobite. I don't. This is not a world I want to exist in. But so that's one of the things I'm focusing on before I start adding in the objectives and everything. Just getting it to where the character feels good to just exist. I want you to be able to sit down and read books. See, look at that. The flashlight's working right now, but it's like vertex lighting, which is cool and I like. I'm just not sure if I told it to be like that. But this is how it was in PlayStation 1 games when they would have lighting, like per vertex lighting rather than per pixel. So it's basically you're lighting up a square of the ground the more you move around rather than just sending light out in a radius and it has fall off and everything. Look how cool that is. Right there. So yeah, I guess I should end this. But see, this is the kind of game I love, where it's just, again, it's not in your face. It's not, hey, Mega Man. It's not like telling you to go do things all the time. Um, but again, I will have all that stuff right here. We got quests, and you can choose your active quests. You're going to be able to have a nice map, and you're going to be able to make your own objectives based on what your goals are in the game. Are your goals to save all the survivors? Is your goals to escape? Do you just want to end the game as quickly as possible? Because the game will allow that too. It's called a coward's ending. Basically, like where you start the game and you get out of your car at the spooky mansion, then you immediately turn around and get back in your car and leave. You should allow players to do that. Like I don't want I don't want the friction of you feeling like you have to get through my game. Like I really want it to just be a place with interesting goals and stuff like that, to where like it's as big of a game as you want it to be, and not bigger. There's no extra filler that you have to sit through. Like if you want to start out this game and go fix the boat and sail away immediately, that's up to you. But if you want to stay here and save the survivors, get the systems back online, call the mainland, call in the military, get everything under control. If you want to do that, then that's cool. There'll be an ending for that as well. And this time system, like this, again, this is all part of NexusDev, which is my big system of scripts that I'm working on that applies to all of my games. So any work I do for one game works for all of my games. So that I have a day and night cycle for CC game here. I also have a day and night cycle for Age of Singularity, and also for SP, which is my Zelda 64 style game, and also for Knott's game, my main game. And it all just flows right over and works seamlessly, which is real ding dang cool, because then I can spend more time focusing on creating each scenario rather than on just like getting the engine working right. Maybe right there. All right, cool. I guess we'll end the video for now. I'm Wesley and Tyler. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to stay updated with more of my updates for my games that I'm working on. Hopefully it'll be some cool stuff. Thanks. Bye.